we will end it at that. We're not going to speculate about the injury until we get that information from Sean.
Everybody's speculating about the injury.
No, I'm saying it's that. They haven't said it, is what I mean.
Yeah.
There's no confirmation.
We're not reporting that that's happening,
no
but we can
confirmation.
say it's a non-contact injury to that part of the body. It feels catastrophic.
Based on where he grabbed and the immediacy of the injury and just looking at how much immediate pain he was in as well.
Yeah.
Not great.
Knicks are not going to get the credit today because the focus is on the injury, but give the Knicks all the credit in the world for being up 3-1 against the defending champs. That's an amazing accomplishment in itself.
And the way they played, too, though. Like, that's the part, like, we can't ignore, even though the Tatum injury is this ominous cloud over everything in this series. Like, the Knicks fought, scrapped, clawed in order to keep it close. And Jalen Brunson does what he always does late in the second half in that third quarter. Dude just dominated, man. He scored or assisted on 25 of the 37 points that the Knicks had in the third quarter, and they outscored Boston 37-23. That was the game. And once they got it close, all of the pressure shifted to Boston, and you felt Boston in clutch time, that final 5 minutes, start to cave. That is all the New York Knicks. It was the hustle plays by Mitch Robinson, the offensive rebounds by him and Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges making some big shots when Jalen Brunson was on the bench to start the fourth quarter. Like, this was a total team effort. You had 4 guys that scored 20 points or more in this game for the New York Knicks. They made these moves this past offseason, trading for Mikal Bridges, trading for Karl Anthony Towns for moments like that. Jalen Brunson absolutely was the catalyst, but you had other guys step up and make some big shots. OG Anunoby made a huge 3 when the game was tied at 102 at the 6-minute mark in the fourth quarter. I mean, he had that huge breakaway steal. Like, there were so many moments in here that are reflective of the personality of this New York Knicks team, and dare I say, a team that embodies the spirit of the city that it plays in. That is a proud moment if you're a Knicks fan, which you saw last night.
No, I love that you went there. And I know that so much of the story today is, of course, going to be about the Tatum injury and the fact that the defending champs are down 3-1. But we cannot let it go today without talking about the way the Knicks won this game. You're down all 3 games against the defending champs, and you find a way to come back. The heart and composure that this group has, it cannot be overstated. And remember last year, Tim Legler, our friend here on the show, obviously ESPN NBA analyst and broadcaster, said that this is a team that leaves skin out on the floor.
Yep.
They leave skin out on the court. That's a factor that we didn't really talk about enough heading into these playoffs. It's just the never give up attitude that we've seen from this group of Knicks players. And give credit to Tibbs, too, for the way that he coaches them. But it takes a really special collective group of people to be at those type of deficits in 3 games and never give up and not lose your cool. So shout out to the Knicks for getting the job done.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the Knicks have been amazing, and you're right. I mean, unfortunately, it's not going to be the story today. Jason Tatum's injury, an injury that if it is what we've speculated it is going to keep him out for a large portion of next year as well, right? A year in which the Boston Celtics, per everyone, we're going to have to cut salary mainly because of the rules of the NBA more than anything else, these second apron rules. It's not that they can't afford these guys, that they just can't do it based on the rules. Bobby Marks, ESPN front office insider, had this to say on Game Night on ESPN Radio last night about the Tatum injury.
You know, certainly for the short term, it's devastating when you lose a game, you know, a game that puts you up against the brink of being eliminated here. And it looks like certainly it's a significant injury here, and now you're going to have to ask for more of Jalen Brown and Peyton Pritchard and Derek White and that group to try to get you back to a Game 6 in New York. I think long term, I think it's even more devastating because there was going to be questions as far as with the Celtics team, as far as if they didn't win another championship or get to the NBA Finals, if this group was going to be broken up. And now, if we've got a Tatum injury that's, you know, certainly significant, I think there's going to be a lot of questions as far as if we've seen the last of this Celtics team as is right now, just based on where this payroll is going to go next year.
Yeah, and I don't think it makes any sense now moving forward to try to keep some of these guys that are going to be, obviously that we all will be older when Tatum comes back. But if you look at next year and you say, unfortunately, tragically, next year for Tatum could be a wash, well, that's Porzingis' last year. And based on some of the health stuff, I don't know that the Celtics are going to be like, oh, let's extend him. He's a unique player. He's great. He helped them win a championship. Drew Holiday has 3 years left on his deal. He's 34 years old. So you're not like those two guys are way more likely than not to not be on the team, I think, based on the injury last night. And now you're looking at the Boston Celtics, who we are so used to with this group right now that we're the favorites in many ways going into this as the defending champs, at least in the Eastern Conference. We thought Celtics Cavs. 3/5 of the starting lineup on opening night next year probably will not be on the Celtics starting lineup for opening night. They may be on the Celtics, but I'm going to assume that Porzingis will be on another team next year. Holiday will be on another team next year, and Tatum will be hurt for opening night. Brown and White are probably going to be the only two guys, if even that, opening night Boston Celtics next year. And I don't even think that's a bold statement. I don't know if it becomes a 2-for-1 deal. I don't know what it's going to become, but I think you're looking at that starting lineup from last night, or the traditional starting lineup they've had, and say 2/5 of them will be available for them opening night next year. Porzingis gone. Holiday gone. Don't think Jalen Brown gone, but I don't think you can rule anything out right now.
But if they're not going to be a contender next year, based on the severity of this injury and how much of his season is compromised, we know that financially they were going to have to remake this team anyway, because getting back under that second apron was a likelihood. But does this change everything? If you're not a contender, do they take a severe approach to what they do moving forward?
I think it's a great question because I think we're too quick to jump to, and we're going to get to the lottery, Dallas for Giannis, San Antonio for Giannis. Like, there are other players in addition to Giannis that, like, for instance, San Antonio may look at, we have 2, we have 14, we have all these young guys. If Jalen Brown's available, he certainly fits with Wemby. Like, I'm not saying they would do that. I'm saying I think we're too quick to jump to Giannis because it's newsy and it's possible, but there are other guys. And do the Celtics take advantage of that right now? Do the Celtics say we need a reset year anyway and we got to get lower in dollars? And there are all these young teams that feel like they're close. Let's help them get closer. I mean, it's not a crazy thought, to be honest. The NBA playoffs are on ESPN Radio. Catch postseason action on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app, presented by Indeed. All right, coming up, 1.8
moment when your team is trying to defend the title, it hurts. And while I will acknowledge that the Knicks were firmly in control of the game, I will say this. The Knicks were up by 9 points after that breakaway dunk by OG Anunoby with 3 minutes left to go in the game. Mm-hmm. The Boston Celtics were shooting the lights out of the basketball. They made 18 threes, 12 in the first half. It was one of those games. So no lead was safe for the New York Knicks because of how the Celtics were shooting the ball. Again, I will acknowledge the Knicks were firmly in control, but to have that injury happen in that moment, it absolutely sucks. It's never a good moment to have a major injury or potentially a major injury like that, but especially in that moment, you're talking about Game 4, the Celtics trying to claw back into this series after going down 0-2 at home. Brilliant performance on Saturday in Game 3, and it followed it up with a masterpiece game by Jason Tatum, dropping a 40-burger in the Garden, potentially to tie the series up going back to Boston. And for it to end like that, it just mars what was an awesome game, competitive back and forth. I hate it for the Celtics. Most of all, I hate it for Jason Tatum.
Devastating. It's absolutely devastating. When he went down, you saw the visceral reaction and how much pain he was in. He looked like he was in agony. And when he went and grabbed the back of that ankle, we all thought the worst. And I absolutely hate it for Jason Tatum. I hate it for the Knicks. Rob's coming in the studio. And I just hate that it happened anytime, but I hate that it happened in that moment for him. And if you're the Boston Celtics, I don't know how you turn the page from this. Not only that you let the Knicks come back again and win this game, but the fact that everything they said after the game, it was just devastating from every single player. I just feel for Jason Tatum. I don't have any words right now, is what Jalen Brown said. This is going to be really difficult for them to move on from.
No doubt. And here's the sad part about Boston's situation. You have new ownership that is facing a financial disaster when it comes to what they're going to do, the luxury tax being in the second